Are you pro-amnesty for illegal immigration?
No, never have been. In fact, I'm strongly against amnesty. I am not, and I will never support, never have and never will support any effort to grant blanket legalization amnesty.
They're working cutting lawns, they're doing a lot of jobs, and I'm not sure that a lot of Americans are going to take those jobs. And that's the dichotomy. That's the big problem.
Yeah, we've got the quote, actually, from 2012, a Newsmax interview. The Democrats didn't have a policy for dealing with illegal immigrants. What they did have going for them is they weren't mean-spirited about it. Romney had a crazy policy of self-deportation, which was maniacal. It sounded as bad as it was.
We have a crisis in illegal immigration. And the unhappy truth is neither party is serious about solving the problem. In my view, we need to do three things. Number one, we need to do everything humanly possible to secure the border. The reason there are 11 million people here illegally is because the federal government has fallen down on its vital job of securing our borders. Number two, I am categorically opposed to amnesty. And number three, we need to remain a nation that doesn't just welcome, that celebrates legal immigrants who follow the rules and come here seeking the American dream.
And the criticism is fast and furious from conservatives like Ted Cruz from Texas, your fellow senator, who says for those who are going through the legal process, they'll feel like chumps who are outside this country. His word, because those who are here illegally would get on this legal path to citizenship, even if they would pay a penalty, even if they would pay a fine and have to go through other checks. Why would you support this, given the obvious political risk that this carries in your own party?
It creates a way for us to address the millions of people that are here undocumented in a way that's compassionate.
They're going to make it possible for 11 million or 12 million illegals to become citizens. You know, you have to look at it, and we want to do the right thing, and you have to do the right thing.
Trump ushered in a pair of men and 3 young Dreamer activists. The Dreamers were on a tour sharing their stories with those less likely to support them, like Tea Party supporters. You know, the truth is I have a lot of illegals working for me in Miami, he told them, using the term for undocumented immigrants those in the meeting found offensive. You know, in Miami, my golf course is tended by all these Hispanics. If it wasn't for them, my lawn wouldn't be the lawn it is. It's the best lawn, Pacheco recalled Trump saying. Then Trump addressed the issue dear to their hearts, amnesty for illegal aliens. You have convinced me, Trump said to the delight of the activist.
This current bill is a mess. It is repeating the same failed pattern we saw in 1986. 1986, Congress came to the American people and said, we're going to grant amnesty to some 3 million people who are here illegally. And in exchange, we'll secure the borders. We'll fix the problem so illegal immigration will go away. What happened was the amnesty happened. 3 million people got amnesty. But the borders never got secured. And the problem got worse and worse.
That there's a chance, if all of these poison pills are not placed in its path, that we could see a path to getting this done this year, immigration reform.
And Ted did go, made an effort and was effective in talking to House members, urging a no vote. It was very dicey over there. It was a near-run thing. People forget that.
Why are we proceeding gangbusters? And the only explanation that makes sense is there are many senators, it seems, in this body, perhaps on both sides of the aisle, that very much want a fig leaf. They want something that they can claim, we are supporting border security, when in fact this bill does not. I would suggest, Madam President, if you contrast this amendment to the amendment I introduced, you can see the difference between a bill that actually would protect border security versus something that is merely meant to tell gullible constituents that we've done something.
You were part of that bipartisan group that put together an immigration reform bill. You voted for it, and then when you got a lot of heat from people in your own party, you walked away from it.
Well, that's not an accurate assessment. What I'm saying to people is we can't do it in a massive piece of legislation.
But would a President Rubio revoke deferred action and the executive action by President Barack Obama that would benefit more than 4 million people, undocumented immigrants in this country?
Well, we have 2 executive actions. The first was DACA, and I don't think we can immediately revoke that. I hope it'll end because of some reform to the immigration laws. There is a new executive action that applies to adults, to a broader population of people, and that, I believe, is a wrong approach.
A lot of these people are helping us, whether it's jobs, and sometimes it's jobs, in all fairness, I love our country, but sometimes it's jobs that a citizen of the United States doesn't want to do. I mean, there are jobs that a lot of people don't want to do. I want to move them out, and we're going to move them back in and let them be legal.
When you say legal, do you mean legal status, or can they be eligible for citizenship?
Legal status.
No citizenship.
No citizenship. I mean, we'll see later down the line, who knows. But I would expedite the system.
How do we handle the 11 million already here?
Well, the first thing we do is take the bad ones, of which there are, unfortunately, quite a few. We take the bad ones and get them the hell out. We have to get the bad ones out. Then the other ones, and I'm a very big believer in merit system, I have to tell you, because some of these people have been here, they've done a good job. You know, in some cases, sadly, they've been living under the shadows, et cetera, et cetera. We have to do something. So whether it's merit or whether it's whatever, but, you know, I'm a believer in the merit system.
I understand that when the mainstream media covers immigration, it doesn't often see it as an economic issue. But I can tell you, for millions of Americans at home watching this, it is a very personal economic issue. And I will say the politics of it would be very, very different if a bunch of people with journalism degrees were coming over and driving down the wages in the press. Then we would see stories about the economic calamity that is befalling our nation. And I will say, for those of us who believe people ought to come to this country legally and we should enforce the law, we're tired of being told it's anti-immigrant. It's offensive. And we can embrace legal immigrations while believing in the rule of law. And I would note, try going illegally to another country. Try going to China or Japan. Try going to Mexico. See what they do. Every sovereign nation secures its borders, and it is not compassionate to say we're not going to enforce the laws and we're going to drive down the wages for millions of hardworking men and women. That is abandoning the working man. Thank you.